You're listening to the Chartographers.
Everybody, you are listening to the Chartographers. It is a music-loving podcast for music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist and we rank it worst to best and forget the rest. You know what the rest is? The rest is that whoop-de-whoop, that blah-say-blah, that he say, she say, oh my god. That's exactly what it is.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, okay. With pleasure at that point. So, guys, season 2, let me just tell you a little something about this Chartographers thing. I know I mentioned it at the start of everything, but it's been a journey. We started out with a lot of the classic-leaning, like, great classic artists, you know, of, like, rock and pop and other things like that, and now we just went into, like, fucking contemporary territory, like, crazy hard.
Yeah.
And we got rock stars retweeting us, and we got, like, all sorts of things happening, all because of you, because you guys were listening, and we really, really thank you and appreciate that. But most importantly, though, god damn it, man. We haven't done a fucking rap episode in forever. And we want to do something great. We want to do something substantial. And so we decided we were going to talk about one of the, in a very short amount of time, is already in the conversation of top 5 MCs of all time. Like, it's actually kind of incredible. So that's right, guys. We went ahead. We're going through with it. We're talking about the one, the only, the third most famous person to come out of Compton outside of Dr. Dre and Kevin Costner. That's right, guys. We're talking about Kendrick Lamar. Well, into great if you're nasty. Kendrick, a.k.a. K-Dot, a.k.a. Kung Fu Kenny.
Kung Fu Kenny!
He hails from Compton, and the thing is, you really wish there was a little bit more, like, grit to his backstory. He just saw some shit and decided to start rapping. And it's amazing because the industry wound up picking him up quite readily.
Yeah.
Like, he'd had early features, like J. Cole produced some beats for him. He showed up on some game tracks. Like, he was brought into the family pretty early. It wasn't until after his official debut, Section 80, that he wound up really, really getting the attention of Dr. Dre. And then it became this big, big push where all of a sudden he, in multiple different iterances, really stepped up the game of what rap music can, should, and will be doing in the future. Like, it's crazy. We have the unspoken rule on the podcast that we will do another artist, or the same artist again if they put out 2 more albums. I am so excited to have, if we had Kendrick Lamar be that artist. I really, really am.
I mean, at the rate that a lot of the artists we're doing are going every 4 years, it's gonna be Kendrick that we do first.
Yeah. So listen, we are going to do it. We are going to take his discography and we are going to rank it. In order to do that, we have to put together one hell of a cipher in order to make that happen. So let me just tell you about the people that we got going on right now. First off, there is me. I'm Evan Sadi. I'm an interviews editor over at Pop Matters. You probably know me as the host of this podcast. If you know me as the host of this podcast, you know the person sitting to my left, the sound wave to my Kendrick. That's right, the one, the only Taran O'Reilly!
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I like the sound wave.
Yeah, who doesn't like the sound wave?
I mean, damn.
Yeah.
I didn't really look. Does he work with anyone else?
I feel like he has to. Like, I mean, even like 40 should be for Drake. He does like a couple other things, but he's still the in-house guy for Drake.
I love his musical sense.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's its own thing. But the thing is that, like, while it very much, you know, like, we enjoy this podcast, we could do it. We knew if we were gonna do Kendrick, we wanted to do it right. So we wanted to bring in the guy, the man, a dear close personal friend, noted gaming celebrity, and you can follow him on Twitch and on Twitter at PXG iRedman. The one, the only Shannon iRedman White is in studio. Shannon!
What is going on,
Woo!
ladies and gentlemen?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Now honestly, I've been like waiting for this invite for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like ever since we talked about stuff, and I was like, one of these days, he's going to hit me up, and I'm going to be ready. And sure enough, when that album was announced, Evan messaged me. I was like, God is looking out for me. He knows how bad. And admittedly, you know, Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite artists, period, of all time. Mm-hmm. And it happened at a very fast rate. Mm-hmm. And, man, there's just so much to talk about and so layered. And I've always wanted to, like, have a way to talk about it, and this is it. So I'm pumped.
Good.
I'm ready.
Good. That's all that we asked for. You're like the Anthony Tiffy of whatever the guy's last name is of Top Dog.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. He seems like kind of an asshole sometimes. Like he's like a good label guy, but also like he just pulls shit at random. Like sometimes I was reading about
I feel like in general, good music businessmen are not great.
Oh, people.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be aggressive. Like, you gotta fight for your guy. Like, yeah, it's its own thing. But hey, listen, we're gonna do it. Now, when it comes to ranking the discography of Kendrick Lamar, there's a lot to get into. Now, the first things first, Kendrick has 4 studio albums. He has his debut from 2011, Section 80, released independently. He has the Dre-backed big mainstream breakthrough in the form of Good Kid, Mad City from 2012. He's got the very much the kind of like epic, defining, politically introverted like piece of art that is To Pimp a Butterfly from 2015. And then kind of randomly, kind of sporadically in 2017, he just dropped a new album called Damn. And that came out too. The 4 albums pretty good. I mean, we've done artists with low album counts before, but with Kendrick Lamar, as with anything, there's always a little bit more to that. In 2015, after To Pimp a Butterfly came out before Damn, he actually wound up putting out, because he mentioned he had a couple more songs than he had anticipated, you know, like for To Pimp a Butterfly for those sessions. And he decided he's also in a rapper, he doesn't want to like hoard songs, like if he's got something, he's going to put it out. So the thing is, he wound up putting out Untitled Unmastered in 2016, which is this all 8 untitled tracks. He was on like Colbert Report and Fallon performing these songs that didn't have names or titles.
That was also part of why he did it, is that after those performances, people were
people were,
please give us studio versions.
Right.
I know I tweeted him like, and I know you didn't see the tweet, but I was like, please give me this damn song.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. I want to be able to listen to this all the time without having to go to YouTube to look at the
And
artists.
then he did. And the thing is, like, this album that's basically fucking demos and, like, other shit I was working on debuted at number 1 on the charts. It just kind of spoke to the power and impact that Kendrick had. But then, of course, there's also mixtapes as well. Now, as we know, especially in modern times, rappers are going to put out a shit ton of fucking mixtapes. That's how you build up cred. That's how you build up, viability. And the thing is, Kendrick did have a lot. Initially under K-Dot, then eventually changing it to his own name for the Kendrick Lamar EP. And those are all, great and fine. You can get a lot on Dat Piff. You can get a lot of stuff that you find on there. But there is one in particular, a lot of people cite it as kind of his official one, the one that was actually commercially available, which is Overly Dedicated from 2010. There's a lot of stuff going on. I think we kind of all went a little bit back and forth on there, but Shannon had the argument of like, listen, if Drake can put out, if you're reading this, It's Too Late as a mixtape, then this would qualify in the same standards. Like, most mixtapes don't debut at number 1 on the charts, but Drake's did. So if we're using that rubric, and would you say that's, fair? Yeah.
And plus, I mean, just to toot my own little horn, I was like, Overly Dedicated was the first time I heard him, so that needs to be there because it was very important because it made me fall in. All right, so, it's so weird, especially in 2017. From a technical aspect, yes, it's a mixtape, but when Chance the Rapper is winning Grammys off of a mixtape, and all these awards,
and the thing is, like, other mixtapes he had were like, there was that one that he did that was based entirely off of the Carter 3 by Lil Wayne, where like basically half the songs were basically the beats from the Carter 3 that he sang over. And again, it's a mixtape. That's what you do. This is like almost entirely original production, like straight down.
This feels like an album. Well, and I think I read a quote from him when he was putting out Section 80. He was like, it's just an album because it's with a record label now. Like, everything that I've been putting out, I've been treating it like it's an album.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been putting that much work in. There's quality control. These aren't just like random songs that I'm putting out. Like, these are what I think is great and I want people to hear.
Yeah, and from a technical point, like the Kendrick Lamar EP, that mixtape, is also called the Kendrick Lamar EP.
Right.
It wasn't a full thing.
Yeah, even though it's over an hour long, just like the rest of these albums.
Exactly. So as such, we're going to have the mixtape cut off at Overly Dedicated, and we're just going to carry it straight through. So I think we're in agreement. We're going to do those 6 albums, which is Overly Dedicated from 2010, Section 80 from 2011, Good Kid, Mad City from 2012, To Pimp a Butterfly from 2015, Untitled Unmastered from 2016, and Damn from 2017. All right, guys, spots 1 through 6. We as a group, of course, are going to go ahead and get together and determine what we think is the best. Will we still be fans when shit hits the fan? I don't know. We will find out at the end of this. But the biggest thing is that we have a very, very special guest, Shannon White, at Twitter at iRedman. We got him right here in studio, and we're just we're talking about nominations. We're all going to agree on ultimately the thing. There's some give and take that can happen, but Shannon. Number 6. What would you rank as the worst Kendrick Lamar album? And that's a weird sentence to say. Because
exactly.
This is a guy whose output has been quality.
Exactly. So if it were me, out of these 6, I'm just being honest.
Be honest.
Only because, I'm so invested. It would be Untitled Unmastered.
Okay.
And only because,
All right.
while there were songs on here, it's pretty much a sample of ideas. And I mean, some of the skits on there were very long-winded, and you know, when he was doing the singing in the studio and things like that. Now, granted, the worst from Kendrick Lamar is probably the best compared to anyone else. So, but only because for me, I don't necessarily, when I listen to that, treat it as like an album. It's like an appetizer. It's like an hors d'oeuvre. As a full body of work, I can't put that above anything else on this list because everything else on this list brings so much more in regards to a full package, a full album.
Right. Well, I think the interesting thing is that we have kind of a Kendrick in transition too, because To Pimp a Butterfly, for those who are unfamiliar, To Pimp a Butterfly, basically from the second it dropped, was considered in many of the critical circles to be a masterpiece because it is. And the thing is, I won't even call it an album. I feel like total art is the thing because it demands your attention. It is not a casual, driving down the highway kind of listen.
Not at
like
all.
it is layered.
And oddly enough, a couple of the tracks on there are like
Yes.
You sort of forget that there are tracks on there that are just straight up hip hop. They had a single
King
producer.
Kunta, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is not one of the ones that I would say. I mean, yes, it is an
It's a
incredible
jam,
single.
yeah.
It's a great jam, but it doesn't stick out of the album in the way that I would say All Right is a very classic that is a hip hop beat.
Right.
Whereas most of this album is full on. It's free jazz.
Yeah,
You have
because
Thundercat in there. You have Kamazi. These are incredibly talented musicians just going ham.
Yeah, and the thing about it though is the fact that was still an album. It felt like a considered piece of work because some of the songs can withstand scrutiny and exist without the context of the album. Stuff like For Free, that stuff had to be in the album. It was even though they filmed a music video for free. I found this out
it's
today.
phenomenal.
It's
really?
amazing.
It's an amazing.
Oh my gosh.
It's an amazing. I remember
For 2
watching
minutes.
it.
Oh my god!
It's wow. Kendrick is just
I was I couldn't believe they actually did that, but I was so happy they did because they went all in.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the concept he looks insane.
Yeah.
And it's perfect.
But the thing is, as such, between that and the weird thing about that and Damn very much, even though it's still very much of a certain concept and narrative, it's still very much those songs. I feel like every single one of them can exist independently of the course of the album.
Absolutely.
So Untitled Unmastered,
It's a genre hopper.
right?
Yeah.
So Untitled Unmastered is this weird space in between. It's still jazzy. It's still funky. It's still him trying to work some stuff out. And the thing is that, again, I kind of went back and forth on this a lot this week. And that was the one where I oscillate the most times where I'm like, man, this is really scattershot. And other times I'm like, oh, but the highlights on here are so fucking good.
And that's how you can tell it's
Levitate. Yeah.
and you can tell that it's made within that time frame of To Pimp a Butterfly because you're just these songs, if some of those songs on Untitled Unmastered made it on To Pimp a Butterfly, it would have flowed cohesively throughout the album.
Totally.
And would have just fit.
Yeah.
Definitely would have been a way longer album, but it would have fit. But again, when I listen to Untitled Unmastered, I hear some kind of unfinished ideas, which if they were finished, obviously would be great.
Right.
But for me, it's like a little, hey, guys. And I feel like he put this out for a specific reason. I feel like Kendrick was saying to the game, hey, my throwaways are better than your guys' best attempts. And here goes a little sample just to show you why. And I don't want to say it was a cash grab because, again, the pieces on this, the song with CeeLo Green.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
that one is next level. And that was also Adrian Young who did the score for Black Dynamite and a couple other things.
Yeah.
It's very classic 70s Wakacha soul sound. Man, he was. I didn't realize he was the producer on it until this week. I'm like, oh shit, that is perfect on there.
I mean, I know part of it's just because it's CeeLo, but I think the style of it in general, it really brings me back to Golden Age Outkast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dungeon Family, it just.
Yeah.
And Untitled 8, the last one on there, there's kind of funk groove, this doom 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 doom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Around with those blue faces.
Yeah. That one is that. I mean, in the same vein, it's Kendrick having fun. And the thing is that To Pimp a Butterfly sometimes was fun, but a lot of times Kendrick gets caught up in the idea of being a socially conscious rapper all the time. And he is. Yeah.
I think that puts it a little too strongly.
No,
he doesn't get caught up in being a socialist rapper. He occasionally
not socialist rapper. I'm not sure if you know this. That dick ain't free. Okay, sorry. Pure economics.
That dick is taxed. Yeah. So, anyway, that's
Segues.
you knew what I meant.
Segue.
Yeah.
But it fits him perfectly though.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he doesn't. I feel like he makes comments without being inflammatory for the most part. Like, he's not saying it to get a rise out of people. He's just saying it like, he's going like, this is what we have to fucking deal with.
Yeah. The only thing I would give towards Shannon's point is the fact, and there's many things I give to Shannon's point, but like, I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn are considered pieces of work. I mean, admittedly, most of his albums are. Untitled Unmastered is just very much all over the place. It's just, songs of different styles, because, like, Untitled 3, the one that he debuted on the Colbert Report, what does the Indian say?
Yes.
Like, it's, my favorite song on here by, like, a mile.
Well, that's one of my favorite songs, like, ever.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like, I've listened to that so many fucking times in the past 2 years.
See, I like the last one.
Yeah.
Blue Faces. That's what I'm going to call it, Blue Faces Track 8. Because when he performed it on Jimmy Fallon, he did that, but the end of his performance, he used his verse from track 1.
Oh.
Yeah, so he performed the Blue Track 8, and then with that same medley and everything, he used his ending verse from track 1, and he kind of merged them together. And that's what I thought the song would be, but they're separate on this album. Now, my thing with track 3, the one he performed on the Colbert Report. See, now for me, I love that song. But, see, I don't know if you guys know, this is where a little history comes into play.
All right.
Now, it's not a new concept what he did.
Right.
Because Lupe Fiasco did a song very akin to that, and in my opinion, a better version of that song on his debut album, Food and Liquor, with American Terrorists.
Oh.
Same concept about, breaking down
different
race roles and what's expected and the perception of them. And so he did the same thing. So when I listen to that song, albeit I like it a lot, in hip-hop, when you hear a concept kind of, especially something like that, because very specific, because not many rappers do things in that format, you're like, I feel like it was a very inspired, but the thing that sets it apart for me is the production on that. And again, and probably another reason why I would rate this as the last one is because the live performances, part of me feels like I wish he would have just put the live performances.
I have the MP3
because
the live one because I needed that.
The live performance of track 8 is leaps and bounds better than the one on this album. 100%. The same could be said for, well, we'll get into that with To Pimp a Butterfly with I. We'll get into that.
We'll get into I.
Yeah, we'll get into I later. But
yeah.
For this one, and again, I don't see this as like the fullest album. And again, like for instance, track 7 was like 10 minutes long.
Yeah, and then you have the guitar thing near the end.
with the guitar thing and everything.
It's just like, well, it's like sort of like an album track of his in that way, in that it's like there's a song,
right? But
then there's like a recorded conversation,
exactly. and I love
then there's like a demo,
right? And I love that actually because it almost brings fans into the mindset like this is how we kind of come about with our ideas and our songs. We just kind of jazz out in the studio, and I'm kind of like catching what I want to say or how I want to say it, and the people are reacting, and it's like a back and forth dialogue.
Like
and
you want to cash it outside.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's probably why Kendrick's albums come out so great, because it's just like this feel and vibe amongst that team, and he gets his input, and he, based off of the reaction to that input, he goes with it.
Yeah, I forget which song it is, but I think it's one on Overly Dedicated. He has this line about how he's not sure if he's in the studio, but he's not sure if he's going to freestyle or start, like, actually writing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like,
I know what
and
I'm
how
talking
he's
about.
always, like, he just feels it in the moment, whether or not he's going to, like, plan it out or just...
Okay,
he's what he thinks
but
of.
here's the other thing I will say. I would, especially hearing this argument, I think, I wouldn't necessarily rank Untitled Unmastered much higher, but my only other counter argument, like, I would maybe put Untitled Unmastered number 5, just because Overly Dedicated at number 6 also feels about right to me, and here's why. Because the thing is that it is a very considered album. For a fucking mixtape, it's very good. It is a very nice quality control. But it's also, unlike Untitled Unmastered, it feels like the least Kendrick of the 6 that we're ranking.
Right.
Because I feel like, especially, like, he began, especially with Section 80, because Section 80 very much was based around a concept. Aside from the fact that he tries to do a narrative on that album, and it fucking doesn't work. But the thing, like, he's still talking about stuff about the 80s. He's talking about Ronald Reagan era. He's talking about, all these different things. Overly Dedicated is just a series of songs. And therefore, like, when you talk about, Pussy and Patron, that's a song that very much could be in it here. But there's also kind of a few, like, couple, like, Narky-type songs in there, too. Where it's just kind of like, like, Smoke Up, whatever, I don't care. And it's just, like, these things that are very much probably true to Kendrick. It just doesn't feel like... It feels like that step right before he establishes the persona that we've come to know and love. So, Taran shaking his head at me. Fuck that.
No, I feel like Overly Dedicated isn't any more of just a series of songs than, like, Damn is to me. Like, yes, Damn has some of the connective interludes, but it's so genre hopping.
Yeah, but Damn still feels like it comes from the same identity, if that makes any sense. Like, the same artistic place.
Sure.
Unlike Overly Dedicated, which is kind of a mishmash of different feelings and influences.
But, I don't know, I honestly, like, as far as, like, overall quality control... I enjoy Overly Dedicated more than Section 80.
Oh.
I feel like that on Section 80, there's a lot of attempts to do things that aren't authentically Kendrick. Like when he does like no...
More than Overly Dedicated.
When he does like no makeup. And
well,
he's,
okay.
Like, going...
It was funny. I knew for a fact that song was going to be mentioned. And... I definitely understand what you're coming from.
It's a really good song. It's just
not a Kendrick Lamar song.
It sounds like 2003.
It sounds like it's the thing that you do when you get a rock guy to sing your songs. The way you
and
make me feel.
Like, I get it with that song, but there's no song on Section 80 as bad as Michael Jordan.
Okay.
There is
agreement
song
times a million.
Now,
times a million.
Now, for the listeners right now, I'm going on my Michael Jordan rant.
I want to hear it.
Please forgive me. That is the worst fucking Kendrick Lamar song he's probably ever recorded, in my opinion. I cannot stand that song. I hate the way his voice sounds on that song. I can't stand the hook on that song. I didn't mind Schoolboy Q as much, but... It almost sounded as if he was like, I need my Lil Wayne song on here because it came out in 2010 and Lil Wayne was the biggest, most popular, probably the most loved rapper at that time. And Young Money was doing his thing. And I feel like he put that song on and the hook even takes it back to a Lil Wayne line. And I'm just like, and now mind you, funny story, that was the first song I ever heard from him.
Wait, I'm sorry, really?
It was a very early single.
Oh my
mind
God.
you, that was the first song I ever heard from Kendrick Lamar. And so imagine that being the first. Imagine that being the first song you ever heard for someone, and then for him to be where he's at now, and you to still even give him a chance. Because a lot of the times, especially with rappers, you work on the first as a basis. The first impression means a lot when it comes to rap. Because you hear that one song, you're just like, what is this shit? And then you never go back. But the only reason I listened to Kendrick Lamar more was because Ab-Soul had a song called "Turn Me Up," very hip hop beat, very dope. And Kendrick Lamar's verse on there was spectacular. And I heard that after the song. Like, okay, let me check back on it. Then I listened to the rest of the project. And I was like...
Damn.
Oh my God. Like, this motherfucker's got the juice. Like, he's going somewhere. And then, mind you, Section 80 probably came out a month after that. And I was like, okay, my mind's blown. Because I already knew who J. Cole was and the other production. But that Michael Jordan song...
is terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah. I don't like that song.
Taran's not a fan of the spiteful chant.
Oh, yeah, Spiteful Chant.
The Schoolboy.
It just really annoys me because I really love that Woodkid song that they sampled. And that fucking epic propulsive sample did not need to be slowed down and then having just singing like a really bad hook about people and hoes. And I'm just like, come on, like that sample is so fucking epic. It should have been sped up. And you should have gone ham on that shit. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I was just very disappointed. When I saw that Woodkid was sampled, I was really excited. And then that happened. But we can move away from Section 80.
I mean, we can still... We're in it right now. I think we should talk about it,
But didn't you nominate Overly Dedicated for 6?
Yeah, but I mean, then he mentioned the rock shit on Section 80. And the thing is, there's more than one iteration of rock shit on Section 80.
Yeah, well, and I just also, we have, on Overly Dedicated, we have Alien Girl, which is like a pretty solid track.
Yeah.
I really like the horn sample on Heaven and Hell.
Yes, actually, no.
Yeah.
You know, and when you get to then you also have the Heart Part 2 on there, which we're gonna mention this a lot. When he does this fucking like,
crying voice,
it's like a mix of like crying and like maybe an old lady. I'm like, oh man.
And for the record, the one thing I love about Kendrick Lamar is the fact that even to this day, and even all the way up to fucking Damn, dude has got more voices in him than anyone else. And like we were talking about like iterances, like he's cited multiple times over and over Tupac being an influence, but it's weird how he mentions Tupac as an influence, and yet there are times when I legitimately hear more Nas in his stuff, and especially I do hear Eminem in his stuff too, and he's cited Eminem as an influence of being able to suddenly go into all these different like styles and sounds to the point where like all of a sudden in one song, now I gotta be my conscience in a much more higher tone.
You can definitely tell that his inspiration from Tupac wasn't from the lyrical aspect.
Right,
it was definitely more so from the artistry aspect.
Yeah, for the persona.
Because when you hear him rap, you even hear Lil Wayne influence, you definitely hear Eminem influence, you probably hear Redman influence, you probably hear Corrupt influence from the West Coast. So
I was gonna say, not later on, I feel like he was still trying to be something on these first two, Overly Dedicated and Section 80, and so I actually ended up hearing a lot of like Kanye and like Pusha T, like especially when you get on like High Power, the way that he's like really spitting all those consonants out, really.
Well, High Power, I felt like that was almost like his like De La Soul Daisy Age, like trying to make a statement as to a philosophy kind of thing. And then actually, I mean, we're jumping around a bit, but that actually kind of brings me back to Section 80. Section 80 is such a fascinating thing because it's simultaneously like a time and it's also a place as well. And I find it interesting that, and this is a revelation I had this week, is how utterly locational hip hop is. Because when you are an artist, you always have to be representing or exploring something in some way or another. Most of the time, it's pretty easy. You represent where you came from. You represent ATL. You represent West Coast. You represent New York. You know, wherever it is, you represent Dirty South. You are always going to be representing a place, and that is going to play into a lot of these things. Every once in a while, there'll be an artist, though, that will actually go a little bit further and create a place as well. You know, as we know, Outkast were too fucking weird for this earth. They still rep ATL hard, but they created the realm of Stankonia. And let's not forget the other, you know, hip-hop iconic location created, Nellyville. You know...
if you guys do a Nelly discography, please don't call me.
Oh, hey, guess what? It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen at all. We're not that dirty. So the thing is, though, I will say... when we get to Section 80 is such a fascinating thing because the one thing about Kendrick is that he's always, even when he gets out there and exploratory, he's still tying it back to like basically the impoverished, into like the streets and where you're growing up. So even though he's kind of creating this somewhat of a degree like this imagined fantastical thing, it is still very gritty. It is still very like personal. It is still finding a lot of, you know, a little bit of hope and a lot of heartbreak. And it's just fascinating that that's where he decided to kind of create this.
It sounded like a country line. A little bit of hope and a lot of heartbreak.
By the way, if you go to the Chartographers merch store, that bumper sticker is now available. But yeah, and so
the picture, it comes with a picture of Dolly Parton screaming.
$7.99 plus shipping. All right, so guys, that being said, I feel like the fact that we're talking about Untitled and Section 80 and Overly Dedicated kind of together, that kind of makes sense to me.
Right.
I feel like they all have different unique aspects about them. They all have different highlights. Only one of them, though, has Cut You Off. So I think that kind of says something, you know, there. I like Cut You Off. And like, it's very much
Cut You Off.
Right.
The first time I heard it, I was like, this is a little,
Cut You Off is my song. I love Cut You Off.
Like, just earlier today, I was, you know, cramming and making sure I remembered what everything sounded like. And when I got to Cut You Off, I, like... full on, like, when there's like whoop-de-whoop. Like, how do you not sing along to that? Yeah. It's so... the first time you hear it, you're like, this is silly. And then it's damn good.
The production on it is phenomenal and very, very simplistic, chill, vibey. And I think this is probably the first glimpse of Kendrick's just like conceptual tracks to where it's just like, he said a lot without having to say a lot or layer it behind very fast verses. A lot of punchlines, a lot of this, a lot of that. It was very impactful. It hit its point. Probably my favorite track on the album outside. I love the Heart Part 2.
Yeah.
And there's if Kendrick comes out with a song called The Heart, I'm listening and I'm a fan.
Which he did before Damn, he put out The Heart Part 4.
Yeah. And if you listen to them all in order, you're just like, you see this trajectory of how someone has improved throughout their career is just amazing. But I'm comparing Overly Dedicated to Section 80 personally. I put Section 80 over Overly Dedicated, 100%. Because while Overly Dedicated has good stuff, you kind of feel Kendrick finding himself a lot. Because he has a lot of songs where he'll sound like a Lil Wayne, or he'll rap like someone else.
Yeah.
The hooks aren't as strong on Overly Dedicated.
I hate barbed wire.
Yeah. And I mean, even on some of his features, he kind of gets, overshadowed. Like with Michael Jordan, while I'm not the biggest fan of that song, I feel like Schoolboy Q fit perfect because that's more his groove, his tempo.
A little more gritty.
And even on, Overly Dedicated had the song called She Needs Me that featured Dom Genesis and someone else on the track list. And I think it's on the iTunes version as well when I listen to it. And now Kendrick Lamar had that song by himself. It's phenomenal. But on the remix, they kind of changed the concept, and it was kind of more like braggadocious than the original version. And Kendrick Lamar gets outshined completely by everyone that features on that song.
Yeah.
So...
Isn't it Dom Kennedy?
Dom Kennedy. I said Dom Genesis. Kennedy. There we go. And so, Overly Dedicated was kind of like the slowly finding himself. I feel like Section 80, while he was still finding himself, he was definitely much more confident.
Oh, yeah.
Much more impactful. Rigor Mortis.
Rigor
Mortis is on there, so it's like, you're not getting it. Even. I mean, and even just the way it was broken down. I love Poor Man's Vice.
Yes.
Yeah, that took me a while to get around on. Finally, I was like,
I love Poor Man's Vice. And even from his bars, and again, I feel like it's a little bit different when you rank hip hop albums because even if you might not be the biggest fan of the production, the main selling point of rap albums is the lyricism. And all of them mean a lot, but the lyricism is what gets you. And what stood out to me about Section 80 is he became so much more on point and his delivery became a lot better, and you heard more of what he was saying, and it made more sense and it made more meaning, as to where on Overly Dedicated, again, he's more new. Yeah. He's trying out different things, finding his sound. It's kind of like you're swimming for the first time, and you're just trying to stay afloat. Yeah. And when in Section 80, he started to hit his stride a little bit more.
Yeah, and there's still flaws along the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Because again, he's still got the rock shit on Section 80, even though Overly Dedicated still has Michael Jordan. It's a give and take, So, but I feel like they're kind of like, the fact that we're kind of waffling between them, I think is interesting. But that being said, you would still agree that 4, 5, 6, we were talking about these 3 albums in some configuration, right?
I would, yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, Taran, just out of curiosity, 4, 5, 6, what would your ranking be?
I'm actually, you guys have convinced me.
Oh.
So I would put Untitled at 6, Overly Dedicated at 5, and Section 80 at 4.
No. I could subscribe to that.
Great.
I'll do that. All right. Well, guys, you heard it here first. Overly Dedicated, number 1 album of his. So that means that at number 6 we have Untitled Unmastered, which is still great, mind you. It's still a goddamn wonderful album, and I highly recommend you listen to it. And then Overly Dedicated at number 5, and number 4 is Section 80. But this is the part I was fearing. This is like, crack your head, guys, because I think when we were talking about good. Okay, so after Damn came out. It was some piece on Complex or something like that. It was asking a bunch of multiple writers, how would you is Kendrick now being considered one of the greatest rappers of all time? And there was this one writer, he mentioned how for him, you need to have a couple things in order to hit that bracket. And their specific example was you need to have at least 3 classic albums or at least 50 break down the door amazing tracks.
Right.
And so by that rubric, Notorious technically didn't qualify, but at the same time, the thing is, he said, Kendrick definitely does now, because Good Kid, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn are 3 masterpieces there. So that is where he can officially start having the conversation. So I'm not even sure if I necessarily agree with the rubric, but I do agree that we are running into a lot of great now. The leap that he took from Section 80 to Good Kid, Mad City,
massive,
was just fucking huge. So that being said, I know we kind of talked about number 6 and then we got into a discussion. So, Taran, I'm going to give you the most unenviable task in the world. Number 3, what would you nominate? We'll have a discussion. What would you nominate?
This is so hard.
Yeah, I don't envy it. That's my
if I give a reaction based on what you say, ignore me.
It doesn't matter someone's going to give a reaction. Listeners, there's going to be a reaction.
All right. As far as, again, we have to look at overall not just quality, but like listenability.
Uh-huh.
And by that rubric, I would have to say To Pimp a Butterfly.
No, what? I'm gonna argue this.
No. The thing is, I would say that a solid 2/3 of this album is fucking phenomenal. Just fucking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. And I would also say that this is my favorite era of him. Like, when you eat, like, I would say Alright, the single version of I, and Untitled 3 are my 3 favorite Kendrick songs. But I still feel like when you're getting into all of the weird voices and the sort of like, when Anna Wise is doing her like spoken backing vocals, like it gets kind of grating sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as much as I love King Kunta, she's kind of annoying on there, in my opinion. And I just like...
The physical reactions.
I don't know, and then when you get into like all of the like, the full free jazz with Thundercat, like, I really don't like Wesley's Theory. I know, and the thing is,
but
like,
keep in mind, this is what we're comparing it against.
I also will, I just want to say out front that it's not Kendrick's fault that, like, his verses are always completely fucking on point. Like, on the tracks that I don't want to listen to, it's not because he's not going in 100%.
Right.
It's because I just don't like the production that's happening around it.
Okay.
Like, when we're getting to these 3 albums, I can't point out a bad verse or like anything where I would say he didn't go all in.
Right.
But, and also, like, I would say maybe my least favorite Kendrick Lamar track is Hood Politics.
Shannon is feeling all the emotions right there. It's not my favorite, I'll be honest. But that being said, well, and just out of curiosity, shoe on the other foot right now, Shannon, what would you nominate for number 3 out of what we got?
All right.
Get ready for your reaction, Taran. I want to hear it big. I want it over the top.
Okay. So if I had to rank these 3
for official and totally arbitrary ranking,
for the 3rd spot, I would probably, me personally, I would put Good Kid, Mad City. I would put Good Kid, Mad City. And I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
Good Kid, Mad City, in my opinion, was the first time that we kind of heard Kendrick kind of reach for a more radio-friendly approach on some of the songs. Now, mind you, this is literally like picking the child you're going to save out of a burning building. Like, this is...
Yes. Yeah.
Like, and so let's be very clear. We have to be critical with these if we're gonna, since we're ranking these, we have to critique them. And now, while I might say certain things about this album, it's only in comparison to just Kendrick's albums. Mm-hmm. Any other day of the week, I don't think another rapper can make a Good Kid, Mad City of the current times that have been, that impactful or good. But if we're speaking in regards to those 3 albums, I will put Good Kid, Mad City at the 3rd spot. And I'm going to be able to explain why.
That's just because of your hatred of Drake, let's be real.
Not even... what's funny is, I actually like that. I like Poetic Justice. He has a lot of bangers on here.
Yeah.
I don't like Drake. And I would almost say that because Drake knew he was going on a Kendrick track, all of the Kendrick buzz, I would say that Drake, one of Drake's best.
Drake bodied Kendrick on that song. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Drake bodied Kendrick on that song. That's the one time.
And it's like of that era that he also kind of did the same thing on fucking Problems on the fucking A$AP Rocky song.
Yep. So
right after the have a fucking read along.
Yeah.
And so first, I'm going to preface this by saying everything I love about this before I go into what I don't like.
I mean, I want to talk about what we love about both these albums.
Good Kid, Mad City is probably like how in the 90s we had Menace to Society, how we had Boys in the Hood, stuff like that. I put this album in the ranking of those movies because just when you listen to it,
it is a film.
How descriptive everything is. Yeah. Like, you can literally close your eyes and see everything happen as the story's being told. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes this album so special, and that's what blew everyone away. But when you get songs like Swimming Pools in comparison to the other ones, and albeit I understand that he made it a certain way to give a certain message, like, it sounded very, hey, we want to be on the radio, we gotta have a hit. And that's how that song sounded to me. The verses were decent, but it didn't, like, blow my mind away in comparison to the
rest of
other
the
two.
album.
To the other two.
Yeah.
And while conceptually I loved it, and now mind you, I put this at number 3, but the best Kendrick Lamar song, in my opinion, that he's probably penned is on this album, which is "Sing About Me."
Yeah.
"Sing About Me" is arguably my
Yeah.
favorite Kendrick Lamar song he's ever penned.
Fair.
And even when you know, and If I Die Before the album dropped, and then the gunshot sound, I've never like gotten chills like that.
Well, and that
He
song.
did also, he dies a lot on his
Yeah.
album.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
we talk about that?
There's the thing.
He's died on. Some albums he dies multiple
You
times.
have lost something in
Mhm.
your life. Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On "Sing About Me," I fucking love it because not only is he just an incredible lyricist, but he also like plays with structure so much. We'll get to "Damn" later because holy shit. But on "Sing About Me" specifically, he has that verse that ends with the gunshots, and then the verse after
Yeah,
that
it ends with him fading out.
he fades out. Who the fuck fades out a rap verse? And then the chorus comes back in. Like,
Yeah.
if it faded out and then the beat also faded out after that, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But no, that's just like that persona that he adopted in that verse clearly had more to say,
Yeah.
but he wasn't prepared to put
But
it
the
on
thing
the
about
record.
Good Kid, Mad City is that and the argument, especially when you're looking at everything around it, it's weird how it's kind of, into a degree, the least Kendrick sounding from a pure beat space of what it is. Like, it's very much more of a Dre product than anything else. And Dre still, he only had limited production influence on here, but it's very much kind of a little bit more traditionally structured song.
Well, and it's not
You know?
just Dre.
Yeah.
I mean, he was signed to Interscope at this
And
point.
after-
So
Yeah.
even though Top Dog was still who he was working with, he had
They
the
were all working
Interscope.
together.
Yeah.
He had the Interscope like nudge in
Yeah.
the pop radio
Slash
direction.
aftermath,
Yeah.
And so I understand what you're saying. Honestly, I would say even though I love the conscious bit on swimming pools, that's the best part of that song to me. And
Right.
like, that's far from my favorite thing.
Oh,
on
but
there.
no. But swimming pools is one of the greatest acts of pop radio terrorism to ever happen. Because here is the song, the lead single from your album, about dealing with crippling alcohol addiction. And the chorus is done in such a way that fucking frat boys the world over are blasting it out at every Friday night frat party you can imagine because they think it's a song about drinking.
Exactly.
And it's just like it's just amazing. Like someone one night was just gonna be sitting down in their dorm room and be like, "Oh shit!" Like they're gonna have that revelation of like, "Oh, this is about something completely
right.
different."
And
Like,
honestly, and now in my opinion, that's part of my dislike for it because you make a song that's supposed to have this meaning to it, that's supposed to talk about crippling alcoholism and addiction, but you make it so fun that people will drink to this song.
Yeah.
So it's like, did it really work at that point? Because, a lot of the times people are like, the lyrics and concept, gotta have a concept. Part of art is it has to hit its mark. And if it's not hitting its mark with its delivery because you made it too catchy for that radio play, then it's kind of like...
I mean, now we're getting to like Mike Ladd, Majesticons, and Festicons kind of stuff, like, at this point.
And
though.
and plus, this is the only album where the features bodied him. J-Rock bodied him on Money Trees too, in my opinion.
Also, MC8 bodied him.
And MC8 bodied... So it's
well,
like...
also the Mad City verse, like, that's when he's doing the voodoo voice. And, like,
Right.
he doesn't really have lots
and
of
so then
stand-up
when
when he's doing
MC8
that.
comes
Right,
in, you're
yeah.
like,
oh, thank God. Oh, thank
Right.
God you're here.
And MC8 brings it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so it's like you just have all these songs where he's just getting destroyed lyrically.
Okay.
And the only song that he didn't get destroyed on was just because he wrote the verse for Dr. Dre. So it's like...
I get what you're saying. I just think that from, like, an overall... I don't know, every song on here I want to listen to. Like, I don't skip anything except for the Good Kid, Mad City duo. Everything else is just, like, it's either such a fucking banger or it has the beat and the message. Like, when you're getting into the art of peer pressure. Like,
Right, and
that
I love
shit-
the art of peer pressure.
Like,
I love that beat.
Yeah. You
I
want
mean,
to talk
well,
about...
and you're talking about painting fucking vivid images.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you get the art of peer pressure and, like, Shireen. Also, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe.
One of my
clearly
favorites
made the
Bitch
radio.
ever did.
Absolutely
And
incredible.
it does good. But if I'm comparing that to Some Pimple Butterfly, for me, this huge masterpiece to the point where when I turn it on, if I start that Wesley's Theory, I'm not stopping listening to that album until it's finished.
And that's like both, and so here's the biggest thing. Going into this, we are basically comparing, because you also forget the one thing about Good Kid, Mad City. This is one of the only times ever in history that the fucking interludes between songs work. because like you just hearing these random answering machine messages. Where like by the end of it, I'm like, wait, is he gonna come home? Did he die? Is this
I love those, right?
Because it's representative of the fact that like moms are like calling their kids like, you need to get back here, get some fucking Dominoes, like whatever, and then at the very end,
please come home.
Yeah. Like that's like crippling. That's why like the cover of the album for the actual cover actually says "A Film" by Kendrick Lamar because like it has that kind of cinematic scope. And that being said, like I will still to a degree, Money Tree. Sometimes I think it's pretty good. Sometimes I'm just kind of I don't really have to hear Mad City again.
I'm into Money Tree,
but
I like Money Trees a lot.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like other songs where he's really real. Like
I fucking love that song. I'm really that might be like in my top 10 Kendrick tracks.
And also, let's not forget, this is the album that also has Backstreet Freestyle on it too, which was the thing that launched off a lot of fucking shit too. I feel like Good Kids, Mad City still runs that thing where even though there's a narrative holding it To Pimp a Butterfly is almost entirely, you have to listen to it as an album. You have to appreciate it as an album. The fact that All Right became a protest anthem for Black Lives Matter, like that's incidental outside the fact because that album was still a statement. And the other thing...
incidental, that song is, that's what that song is about.
Yeah.
Also, that beat is fucking bomb.
Yeah, and also the greatest thing Pharrell Williams has ever done in his life. But the other, just putting it out there.
What about Happy?
What about Happy? What about it? But here's the other thing I will say.
Unfortunately, we couldn't finish the podcast.
Shannon had opened the door for himself to leave, and he did so. But here's the other thing I will say about To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly legitimately challenges me, and for the moments that really fucking get to me or atonal at times. That's kind of the point, too, because, when you're doing an album that's not just a rap album that is basically tackling the entire history of black music and finding a way to rope it into, thing, where it's going into free jazz, it's going into funk, it's going, James Brown has a fucking writing credit on King Kunta as well, and also that's the same song where he has, And Are You Okay as well, he's hollering back to all these different, pop paragons all the way through, so at times, I don't like the song You, but the fact that You is in there, and is, correlating back. And also, on top of all of that, fucking when I came out as a lead single, that was a jam. People were like, oh yeah, fucking Isley Brothers. This is, I love myself. It's a jam.
Fun fact, he visited the Isleys personally to get permission to use that sample.
And what I love about first of all, what I love about the rollout of To Pimp a Butterfly is that when he dropped as the first single, everyone got a little bit shook. They were like, what's happening? What is his first single?
Yeah.
But then if you listen to the lyrics, especially when he goes into the rap part at the very end of it, it's almost like he's screaming to himself, I love me. It's almost like he's yelling at himself in the mirror.
To assure himself.
It's to assure himself. And then when you hear it in the context of this album and how it's delivered on the album personally, with the live thing, and then it breaks. And
again, speaking of much like how Swimming Pools drank, another amazing act of sabotage. The single version, it's a jam, it's on radio, people are digging it, you hear it on the album, and people wonder what and you've seen Fox News and other things like that talk about these goddamn Black Lives Matter protesters, these people standing in the street stopping traffic. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Are you a little bit inconvenienced by things? That's just how we have been inconvenienced for a lot of our lives. And he does the exact same thing here. You know what I sounds like going into this album. Yeah. And he bum rushes his own stage on the album version and interrupts it and stops it and then begins asking those tough questions in it. And you might be annoyed by that. And that's the absolute point of it, too.
And a large part of where people get their feelings from, which might actually be a little bit of swaying for me personally, is how the album impacts the culture when it drops. That album came at the perfect time in life.
Yes, it did.
And I don't know if it was 100% by design or if things just started unfolding like that as the album was being made. I don't know what it is. But the volumes it spoke to the times that we were in, and even speaking on the aspect of black on black crime, as well as the way that the world views, the black struggle and things like that, I feel like it hit the nail on the head so perfect. And then with all the instruments,
the Black of the Berry, God.
And then when he dropped, you just
Jesus.
The way the Black of the Berry is delivered, even Mama, even when you talk all these songs, how much a dollar costs, and it's just oh my God, the messages and themes and delivery and hitting the nail on the coffin. He didn't have a song, in my opinion, that was kind of like Swimming Pools, as to where he made a song, catchy song that people were like, oh, I'm getting drunk. And then they realized that, like, way later, like, oh, wait, it's actually not. But some people aren't going to get that mark. They're just going to hear that hook. And then as to where, I definitely understand now, To Pimp a Butterfly isn't an easy listen.
No.
There's not too many songs on this album that you can just throw in a playlist.
I'll throw Complexion
and take it out of the context of the album.
Yeah.
But part of it is why I revere this album so highly is because it's this masterpiece and it's confound just in this masterpiece. Yeah. It's not meant to be sectored off or held in its own light. You have to hold all of this together because it fits so perfect and it's delivered.
Yeah. Now, I love all of that. And here's the only thing. Like, we've been kind of going back and forth about what we're nominating for number 3. But so far, we've been talking about both these albums in great detail. But we have not been talking about Damn. Now, Damn, because we're talking about it, let's talk about it while we're here.
Okay.
That is a... Man, there's a lot of feelings that we have about that.
Yes.
A concept album, but it's not a concept album. It kind of deals with the 7 Sins, but kind of in its own way, but not really, but kind of, sort of.
Right, like the 7 Sins were kind of like a starting point
for
and
what
then
he
it just
ultimately
kept
did.
Going.
Yeah. And boy, let me tell you, it is we started getting into the stories and everything there, and like DNA, how it started this beat, which I can't fucking believe was made by Mike Will made it. I could have sworn it was Bangladesh. It's actually Mike Will, who I'm getting a lot of respect for. Last year, he fucking produced Black Beatles and Formation by Beyonce. Like, holy shit, really?
Mike Will made it is... First of all, a lot of Southern producers are so slept on in their production because, again, at least in the stigma of hip-hop, you know, when it comes to the South, what do we think of? Or at least historically, what do people are used to think of? I can't even say that anymore because South was running hip hop for like the past decade or so.
Yeah.
You know, Southern is more watered down, not as cohesive or lyrical or things like that because, you know, the golden era of hip hop was controlled by the East Coast and all these artists and everything coming out. But their producers, any song you hear that's popular or they get you going is made by a Southern, whether it's Zaytoven, Bangladesh, Hitmaker, whether it's Mike Will made it himself. A lot of these Southern producers are at the forefront. Metro Boomin are at the forefront of everything that's at the forefront of what's popular in hip hop. And so when I heard DNA, I kind of had a feeling it was Mike Will only because he had mentioned a couple weeks back that I did some production, and I also felt like Humble. And a little interesting thing about Humble was not meant for Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I read that.
It was made for Gucci Mane.
Which is
so weird, because at this point, I can't imagine Gucci Mane on that song.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Also, the way Kendrick takes this hard-ass fucking beat and opens it by talking about syrup sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just, he just subverts anything. The one thing, I actually don't love Humble a whole lot, I'll be honest, because I feel like it is a song that is just all over the place. Yeah. Where he's talking about, you know, he wants girls to be real, put that pussy on my taste buds. He's kind of jumping, like, all over the place, even though it's got the most quotable lines. This is that great boupon, that AV on that TikTok. You know, like, there's some great goddamn, me, let my soul speak. You, let the meds talk. Like, that's a great, great lines all around. But at the same time, that is, like, weirdly enough, it's the lead single. It's his first ever #1 as a solo artist. Mm-hmm. And it might be my least favorite song on here, which is kind of...
Ooh, that's a big statement.
I mean, legitimately, though, because we're running into... Shannon's really looking into his head for this.
With this album, it's so weird because it's so current, and I love this album. Like, I love it a lot. I never thought of, like, what was my... Because, honestly, when I first heard the album, instantly, and that's probably just, like, the hipster in me. I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't like the Rihanna song, and I don't like the Love song.
The Rihanna song isn't great.
Yeah. But for now, though, I fucking love that song. Like, now I love that song, and the Love song was Zakari. Yeah. Even though I was like, is this like a lazy, like, cause I didn't, at first I didn't like, yeah. But then like a lot of this album, I felt like this was Kendrick, cause he came out very cocky on this album, like, I'm the GOAT, I'm all top 5, even the lead, the Heart Part 4 being released right before the album came out, and he's taking the shots at Big Sean, and he's taking the shots at every rapper, like, look, you guys got a limited time, I'm coming to run things for a little bit, y'all better be ready. And I think this is the first album where he's like, I'm the king. Like,
So what does he do with this king status aside from taking U2 and relegating them to a fucking like guest chorus?
And I think
that's a power move right there.
And
all right,
I give him points just for that because I'm pretty sure everyone had the same reaction
U2?
I did when we saw U2 on the track list.
You're sampling U2, right?
And that song, is like
it goes hard, and then all of a sudden this break happens, and then U2, the entire band is going jazz on you.
Yeah.
Like, what? And I love Bono's voice on that too.
Yeah,
It
worked perfectly.
I hate the beat on the first half. I really don't like it.
And now the reason why I like it is because if you go back to like old school Eazy-E, NWA days, that's what the sound was. And so when you hear that beat, that's exactly what you get. And then his flow pattern on that, is very, like very bouncy, jumpy. Yeah. It's very akin to those times. So I can see why people don't like that because it's a very West Coast sound. 100%.
I just think I'm overusing sirens in music.
Yeah, which is fair. But that being said, and this just may be controversial, but the more I think about it, the more we drink while we record this podcast, I definitely think about it. I think one of the most fascinating things, I would argue that what he accomplishes with the entirety of Good Kid, Mad City, the narrative, the tale he wants to tell, you could argue he tackles in one song in the form of fear.
Yeah.
Because fear, like, it is this fucking stoner ass groove, this very like lazy kind of thing, and it's just if I could take fear and and just
why God.
And then all of a sudden you have these two verses, one where he's talking about is that beating your ass for anything? If I have to beat your ass, it's like. I'll beat your ass 50. I beat your ass 2 times, and you're still here. And then the second half where he talks about all the things that are going to kill him. Like, it is like stark, but yet it is compelling, and I want to listen to it again. Like, and it's this crazy jumping, juggle act.
And
that
that's
he does.
the song where he brings in a guest vocalist to record that opening.
My God.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then he does it himself. And plays it backwards.
It's
those same lyrics again.
Yeah, it's the same lyrics backwards.
Exactly. He covers his whole life. I think it's specifically ages 7, 17, and 27. The last verse is the fears that he has currently as a public figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite tracks on here. Also, since we're here, I wanted to talk about Lust. When he's playing with structure, the first verse on Lust, he samples some British rapper, and then he starts the first verse, and then he's like, nope, and he plays the sample again, and then he restarts the first verse, and then he's like, hold up, and then he restarts the first verse.
And I think that's what I love so much about this album is the way he breaks, he stops the beat on you. And it's unconventional.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wait, what's going on? Even he did it on DNA, he did it on Lust Great,
and
he did it on Ducksworth. It's
just
and
every time you're just like, what?
Yeah,
it keeps you in suspense.
Yeah.
And then he fakes you out again in that Lust verse he plays the first 2 seconds of the chorus. And then you think that you're hearing the first verse again, and then he twists the formula and makes it about a woman instead of a man. And I'm just like, God fucking damn, dude.
Yeah.
Who fakes you out 4 times in a row?
And even what I love about this album is that it has some suspense of you trying to figure stuff out of what's happening the way the story's being told. Because at the end of the album, it talks about him dying, and it reverses back to the beginning of the album. Yeah. So now you can listen to the album backwards, and it'll kind of tell a different story in some ways.
Yeah.
And it's just
and again, it's it doesn't have the same narrative that Good Kid or To Pimp a Butterfly does. Yet, even when he's using quote unquote more conventional beat makers and things like that to tell the story, it still has this fucking pull to it. And it's just and even if we could talk about maybe his singing on God is a little bit
and I wasn't a big fan of that song at first. But as time went on and you listen to it and you kind of understand what he's doing
and
with the song.
You know what? He makes it look sexy.
Yeah,
I get that song. I do, and I understand how other people would enjoy it. I just can't get past the vocals. Especially because he has sung before very effectively for me.
Right.
And on that song, I don't know if they should have just used a different take. Or...
And when I hear that song, I know why it's structured how it is. because that's definitely going to be one of the songs that's going to be like at the tail end of his live shows because it's so easy to sing along to and everyone's going to be doing it. So I get how God was made. If I had to pick a least favorite on the album, that would probably be my least favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's saying a lot. Like, I still love the song. I love y'all.
I
love y'all. I love y'all.
No,
you leave y'all alone.
Yeah.
You leave y'all alone. I love y'all. Y'all is great. And if I had to pick a favorite personally, Ducksworth takes the cake for me.
Because it's like, because I mean, it's also the thing. He's kind of a little bit careful with autobiography, and yet here the song where it's like, oh my God, Anthony could have actually had this encounter that actually could have really happened. Where it's just kind of the surprise. A lot of people like it when it came out initially. It was like, wait, holy shit, is this story true?
Yes, and the production on this song.
Yeah, a fucking Ninth Wonder finally
and now,
working with Kendrick.
And mind you, I am a big Ninth Wonder fan.
Yeah,
my favorite group of all time is Little Brother. Like, I am, like, to the core. Like, when I heard Ninth Wonder was working on the album, I legit was just sitting at my computer waiting for that, like, me be able to click on it on iTunes so I can listen to it and get to that last song, and I was just blown away. And just the way it stops 3 different times or 4 different times, switches the beat, the way he flows is just, like, the perfect close to this album.
Yeah.
By far, and I was just taken aback by it, even from the story. And again, like you said, Kendrick tends to not get too autobiographical with himself and stuff like that, and he reveals this story about his dad and Top Dog and how things unfolded, and you find out it's a true story, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
And then just the way it ends, like, it's almost like he formatted this album to make you want to listen to it
again.
In like from first song to last song, then from last song to first song, then just keep going in this circle and trying to figure things out.
And I think that's the thing for me, where, like, ultimately when I'm coming down to it, because we also have been talking about Kendrick for over an hour at this point.
Jesus,
oh, really?
Already?
Really?
Yes. Oh, my God. It's blown the fuck by. It's blown the fuck
I feel
by.
like we've skipped so much.
I know. And so the thing is that when it comes to that, though, like, I love Good Kid, Mad City. I would gladly put it on. This isn't a diss or anything. I appreciate To Pimp a Butterfly so much because it is a heavy piece of art. I may not always want to put it on, but the times I do, it is an immersive experience. I never feel like more into someone's vision or someone's world than the clarity that it articulates through the chaos of that. But damn, at times on the day, I might say Damn is my number one, just because he takes all of those concepts and ideas and he makes them approachable and like accessible, but at the same time it's a very clear progression away, because he doesn't work with the same producers. Even when Thundercat and Philo had such a huge say on what To Pimp a Butterfly was, he uses them so sparingly on this album here. Like, it's still Soundwave is still showing up at times, but he's obviously working with a new different set because he does not want to make the same album twice. And you gotta give respect to that too. But that being said, I think that we've talked about these albums a little bit. I'm gonna toss a crazy idea out here. I want to hear everyone's nomination for
number one.
Number one. Shannon.
I had a very big argument with Kendrick about this. Now, mind you, he wasn't a part of the argument,
right? Exactly.
But he actually did an interview.
Shannon,
I know. I saw it.
He did an interview on Big Boy's Neighborhood where he ranked the albums himself.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Before we recorded this.
Yes.
What did he rank?
So he only ranked Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn. Those are only 4 albums he rated. He put Section 80 last. Then he put To Pimp a Butterfly. Then he put Good Kid, Mad City. Then he put Damn. And I was mad at him. I argue with him or myself for like a solid 2 hours. Like, there's no way. And I think to myself so much about it, because then I'm thinking about, okay, what is my personal preference versus what I
is
think
genuinely,
because even if you get in discussions such as like top 5 MCs and stuff like that, my favorite is different than who I think the top 5 actually is. And so I tried to break that down for this album stuff, and with every bone in my body, no matter how much I try, To Pimp a Butterfly is the greatest album for hip-hop that I've ever heard in my life. So I can't not have that. It's my number one. But what's weird is, if someone says that's not their number one, I 100% can understand why. Because it's so impactful and needs to be together all the time that, like, I can throw on Damn and like vibe out, and then it also has the same message. And even his reasoning behind it was, Damn is a culmination of all of these albums. You get the hard-hitting boom bap from Good Kid, Mad City. You get the, the concept of introspective verses and things like that from To Butterfly. And then you get the do whatever you want from Section 80, and that's how he got Damn. That was his breakdown of it. And I can see that. It's hard for me to put Damn as number one, only because I have to give my albums at least a year.
I know. We're doing this so recently after it came out. But at the same time, we've sat on it and we've listened to it so much that I still feel,
Like, if someone said Damn was their favorite Kendrick Lamar album, I wouldn't argue. Yeah. I wouldn't argue about, honestly, any of these picks if someone said it, but I would probably go with To Pimp a Butterfly, if that was me.
Taran.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is that, like, until today, I had no idea, among these three, I had, like, really no opinions one way or the other, because they're all so incredible. I don't know,
Isn't it hard?
It's really, really difficult. Coming into this, I would have said Good Kid, Mad City. Just because I'm all about production.
Right.
And I just think that it has the best consistent production, like, from start to finish. But Damn is so much more innovative across the board, more innovative on like every single track. And like my favorite song on there is actually Feel. Because that's one where it's like it's a vibe track, you think. And then as he keeps going and tells you more and more about his feelings, you're like, oh shit, this is heavy. Yeah. Oh my god, you are fucking furious. And then he's screaming by the end. Yeah. And I just I don't know that he could have... There are things on Damn that, like, even on To Pimp a Butterfly, I don't know if he could have pulled them off yet. Like, I almost feel like he had to explore that whole jazzy side of himself that he'd always had an affinity for.
Yeah.
It's weird. With each album, you think to yourself, how is he going to top himself?
Right.
How is he going to do better than this? Like, when Good Kid, Mad City came out, I was like, what the hell's going to happen with that second album? Like, it's going to be weak. Like,
how could
Well, I think that's part of why also To Pimp a Butterfly was so brilliant, because
it subverted every expectation.
No matter how good it was going to be almost impossible to compare it to Good Kid, Mad City. And then it was fucking phenomenal on top of that.
And even then, it wasn't conventional. Like, he didn't go for, like, the radio hits or the top 40 anything. He definitely, like, to make a conscious album, which, akin to his verse on the Mask Off remix, how you let a conscious rapper run the game, pretty much, that's never been done, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of...
Even during Common's heyday.
Right. I mean, even during Common's heyday, you can kind of say Kanye, but he's kind of, like, pseudo-conscious in a way.
He's conscious when he...
And when he wants, when it's convenient.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Nas never really had, like, the stronghold on the game.
So, as we know.
And even Jay-Z, a large part of his history wasn't the most conscious until more recent times.
Yeah.
So for him to be able to do that with To Pimp a Butterfly was just like, wow. But I think what I love about Damn so much, which is why I wouldn't even argue if Damn's number one, I would be like, I'll still argue for To Pimp a Butterfly, but I definitely can understand it, is that Damn does everything. Like, it covers every area. Like, you have your conscious stuff. A lot of these songs can be on the radio and you can vibe out to it just from the production by itself. Like, and it'll work. And the concept and just the meaning, the verses are all impactful. It's just like, it makes me, like, I don't think there's been an artist historically who has gotten this much better with with every single album. Like, even if I don't necessarily feel that Damn is my number one pick, he's clearly better than he was before. Yeah.
Right.
And it happens every single time. And it blows my mind.
And thank goodness he also had the mind to actually put out Untitled Unmastered as its own thing, of trying to interpolate that into the new album. The Damn had to be its own entity by itself.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Damn is my number one.
And if Damn's, that's 2-1 regardless. So I mean, I'm not gonna. And that's what
Damn's your number one?
Well, see, here's the thing. So we've been talking about this so much that, like, out of all the discussions that we've had, in terms of risks, in terms of structure, in terms of his lyrics, in terms of everything. That I'm willing to accept a lot of To Pimp a Butterfly stuff because it is intentionally challenging. And it is a deliberate
It's
choice.
intentionally
and even if I don't
sometimes.
enjoy it myself, I appreciate and respect that so much.
And that's what a lot of people feel about that. Like, even though I might not, like, I can't sit here and not appreciate what he's done.
It is capital
with this
A
album.
art. Yeah.
And I mean, it's like in a Harvard library now. Like, you know.
That being said, I think Good Kid has to be number 3. Like, that's just like, that's like at this point, we have to do it. Then I gotta put Pimp at number 1. Like, that's like the thing. Like, I love Damn so much. I think that
and you know what's weird? We could have this same discussion tomorrow. And Damn would be number 1. And then you could have the discussion 3 days from now. And it'll go back.
Section 80 will be number 1.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Remember how I wanted to put Section 80 at number 5?
I briefly, yeah. So that being said, are we locked in on this? I mean, you gotta keep in mind, we are talking about masterpieces left and right. So, like, guys, this is it. The ranking: number 6, Untitled Unmastered; number 5, Overly Dedicated; number 4, Section 80; number 3, Good Kid, Mad City; number 2, Damn; and the number 1 Kendrick Lamar album is his guest verse on Bad Blood by Taylor Swift. I'm kidding, no. His number 1 is blah, 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 To Pimp a Butterfly. But that being said, you've heard this intense debate and how close it was, and guys,
Yeah, bish.
oh my god, you need to go onto our Facebook page and leave your ranking, because I have no doubt in my mind it will be potentially slightly different than what we had. But man, it is a
that it will be
potentially.
yeah. But that being said, we do have a happy hour mini-sode coming up right after this, where we're going to talk about the worst Kendrick Lamar song, his best guest verse, and just so much more. In the meantime, though, Shannon,
yes,
thank you for being
Oh my
here.
god.
Oh, I appreciate it. This was okay. If I had to rate how fun I thought this was gonna be versus how fun it is, I probably was way off the mark. Like, as far as I always thought, like, this is gonna be fun. This was pretty amazing,
right?
Because it's not too often you get to talk to people in this kind of format. At least for me, this kind of format that are this in tune with like music and actually listen, because you argue about this on the internet. No one's listening.
Yeah.
You have to just type the hardest until someone gives up. So right now, it's just like, this is great. So thank you guys for having me on. I really do appreciate it. And I'm letting you know now, there's going to be a lot of, I've been hyping up this appearance. So there's going to be a lot of people listening to this.
Yes,
damn right.
I'm excited.
Because I know people want to know what the outcome of this is.
Well, and I'm just excited because I'm so happy we're doing it now. Like, on the one hand, yes, we have done, or like when we did Radiohead, it was way too soon after the new album came out. But this has been a couple months. I know that we'll feel way different about it in a year. But it's still like, I'm excited to see what everyone's so excited about Kendrick right now, and I'm excited to hear what they have to say.
And I'm fucking excited for you, the listener, to listen to us and rank us on iTunes. That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Do that, and Stitcher, and SoundCloud, all the places. Find us, like us, do the things, and really, genuinely, thank you for listening. I really, really appreciate it. And if you do it, post it. Have a friend, listen to it too. Have wifey, girlfriend, and mistress listen to it. That's really, if you can make that happen, that'd be great. In the meantime, keep on listening, because you know that we'll be catching Happy Hour Mini. So thank you so much. Goodbye.
Peace.
Woo.